we are running.
I'm completely open to the idea of better living through science, sticking laser lights up your nose and wearing strange caps and doing a lot of things that I'll teach you about today. The idea that you can be at a chronological age, but look, feel, and perform as though you're at a much younger biological age is something we can attain and something we can test with telomere length. I'm going to teach you guys some of the things that I did to do this over the past few years. We're going to start with mind, this concept of balancing your neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, an inhibitory neurotransmitter that helps you sleep called gamma-aminobutyric acid, and acetylcholine. Those are some of your most important neurotransmitters. And there are certain things that you can do to keep these in balance. Who likes coffee? Who knows one of the best ways that you can balance your neurotransmitters and keep coffee from gradually depleting some of those excitatory neurotransmitters and keeping you from doing things like sleeping, napping, relaxing, or avoiding that post cup of coffee crash? What's something you could add to coffee? It's theanine. Theanine, Theanine. You add about 100 milligrams of that to a cup of coffee, and it helps to balance your neurotransmitters and keep you from getting that jitteriness from coffee, and also keeps coffee from imbalancing your neurotransmitters. So 100 milligrams of theanine. Another Ayurvedic herb that acts a little bit similarly is called Tulsi, Tulsi. But theanine's very easy to find on a website like Amazon. You add 100 milligrams of that to a cup of coffee. The next one is leaky brain. Your brain has a blood-brain barrier that's supposed to keep certain toxins, certain chemicals out of your brain. And by keeping that brain or that blood-brain barrier sound, you're going to increase your ability to be able to operate neurologically. So one thing is cold shower. I took one this morning as soon as I woke up. All you do is 20 seconds of cold to 10 seconds hot, 10 times through. It's called a 5-minute hot-cold contrast shower. Anytime you get exposed, especially if you can get your head wet or your head cold for your blood-brain barrier integrity. The next is to breathe. There's a lot of different ways that you can breathe, but there's a fantastic form of breathing called buteyko breathing. And in an ideal scenario, based on longevity studies, you want a slightly higher level of carbon dioxide simultaneous to a high level of oxygen. Because when you have a lot of carbon dioxide in your system, it shoves the oxygen into the tissues. This is called the Bohr effect. So in an ideal scenario, you teach your body how to both increase carbon dioxide and increase oxygen simultaneously. The form of breathing that teaches you how to do this is called buteyko breathing, and the way to figure out if you're getting good at it is you take a normal exhale and then you just go for as long as you can without taking a sharp inhale. Now, a good score would be anything about 40 seconds or longer, being able to hold your breath after a passive exhale. That's a good sign that you can tolerate high levels of CO2 and high levels of oxygen. There are some really good books out there that teach you how to do this. There's also even a little rebreather device that you can hang around your neck, and I use this when I go on walks. It simply goes in your mouth. It teaches you how to exhale slowly, retain a lot of carbon dioxide, then breathe in through your nose and get a lot of oxygen. So maintenance of both carbon dioxide and oxygen, and not trying to breathe off all your CO2 all the time, is actually important for longevity, because you stay oxygenated and the oxygen gets into tissue. The second form of breathing that I really like is called box breathing. Who in here knows about box breathing? I did the equivalent of a Hell Week for civilians with the Navy SEALs in Encinitas, and the most powerful form of breathing that they taught me when we were getting battered by the Pacific Ocean and we were getting buried in the sand and doing these 26-mile night hikes and just getting beat up for a week was box breathing. Very simple. I'll do it before I get on stage to talk, to suppress the heart rate a little bit. It's very simple. It's a 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count out, 4 count hold. Box breathing. And you can do a 5-5-5, a 6-6-6. There's some people really good at breath work who will do a 20 in, 20 hold, 20 out, 20 hold. This idea of box breathing, though, is one of the better stress control strategies that I've used. Okay, next is eating. Next is eating for your mind. Now, if you were to walk up to me and you were to offer me a big stick full of cotton candy, or perhaps one of those snack packs full of healthy food that you get at the airport, and you turn it over and you look at the label, and the number one ingredient, as you see in most processed and packaged food these days, is canola oil, safflower oil, or sunflower oil, or any other processed vegetable oil, I would choose the cotton candy, hands down. And that's because those type of oils are worse for your body than sugar. See, I can metabolize sugar. I can drop and do 30 burpees and stabilize my blood glucose levels, and the body can metabolize sugar very well. Oils, on the other hand, are what comprise your cell membranes after you eat them. They literally are what make up your body. And if you're making up your body with rancid, high amounts of processed oils, what happens is your cell membranes suffer and your longevity suffers. The next one is organ meat. And I realize this is gross for some people to eat organ meat, so I'll take this down pretty quickly. You can get desiccated liver capsules. You can get these in supplement form if you don't like the idea of eating organ meat. The idea of having organ meats at least once a week, though, is fantastic for the brain. You get things like B12 and taurine and all sorts of vitamins your body wouldn't normally otherwise get large amounts of. This is the intellect tree. The intellect tree, and this is found in a smart drug that I like called Qualia Mind. Okay, next is to upgrade your head. I use light for this. There's a few different ways that I use light. I was talking last night to a few people about sun gazing, and this is how I do it. So I just put glasses on. I'm stuck indoors a lot of the time riding. So this is actually fantastic for regulating your circadian rhythm and getting a lot of the benefits of sunlight. It's a greenish blue light wave spectrum, and these are glasses that you wear. I wear these for about 25 minutes every morning while I'm working on my computer, walking around the house, making a cup of coffee, taking a dump with my giant glasses on. But basically, this spectrum is fantastic for enhancing your wakefulness. Greenish blue spectrum of light. Another one that I'll use to basically as almost like a biohack for exercising the cells, for opening and closing the cells, is called pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. This is a table that I sit on, made by a company called Pulse Centers. But there are also more portable devices. I've met a lot of nomadic people who travel a lot here, and there are a couple devices. There's one called an Earth Pulse and one called a Flex Pulse. Now, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, or PEMF, is something that you can put at a different setting for anything you want to achieve. Like you set it at 3 hertz for relaxation and sleep. You can set it at 10 hertz for focus. You can take these things and put them at 100 hertz on a muscle that might be injured. But PEMF is a very good strategy, not only for using to enhance your mind, to wake up the brain. You can place it near your head at about 10 hertz, but also for anything that you'd want to use full body. So PEMF is another one I've been using a lot of lately. Okay, the next is deep sleep, which is fantastic for the mind. A few of the things that I've found to really enhance deep sleep, which when I measure it, I like to be greater than about 10%. And a lot of people who I look at when I see their data from a Fitbit or a Jawbone or any other sleep tracker is that the deep sleep is very low, which means you're sleeping, but you're not repairing and you're not recovering and you're not consolidating memory. Exposure to red light at night. Exposure to red light at night is one very good way to enhance deep sleep. So what I've done is I've changed up all the light bulbs in my bedroom and in my office when I'm working at night to be red light only. Red light only. No artificial light, very small amounts of blue light. Okay, next is your body. You've learned a lot of tips about optimizing your mind. Let's jump into the body. The first is to become a fat-burning machine. We know that adipose tissue releases inflammatory cytokines, and those can definitely get in the way of longevity. As a matter of fact, controlling inflammation and controlling what's called glycemic variability, or how many blood glucose fluctuations that you get during the day, are probably 2 of the most important things that you can do to enhance longevity. So for the fat-burning machine piece, very simple. I'm going to give you my 1, 2, 3 method for losing fat very, very quickly, and I do this every single day. You get up in the morning and you're in a fasted state. Preferably you fasted for 12 to 16 hours. 12 to 16 hours is kind of the magic window to go without eating each day. Next, when you're in that fasted state, you do anywhere from about 20 to 30 minutes of any type of aerobic exercise, not cortisol, stress-producing exercise, something very easy. Walk in the sunshine, easy swim, easy yoga session, you name it. So you're in a fasted state, you're tapping into your own adipose tissue by doing something aerobic in that fasted state, and then you finish with 2 to 5 minutes of cold exposure. 2 to 5 minutes of cold exposure. So you're fasted, you wake up, aerobic exercise, and you finish with cold. And for a bonus on that, if you can have a little bit of caffeine to enhance your fatty acid utilization, coffee or green tea, it'll blow up that effect even more.
We are running last thing.